If you're watching this video, you're probably thinking about leaving the US because of the economy, safety concerns, politics, or maybe just a better quality of life. There are so many Americans grappling with the same decision, and a lot of people are taking a jump, like me. So if you stick around and watch this video, I'm going to tell you what I wish I knew and what I wish I did before making the decision to move abroad. Welcome back, tribe. If you're new here, my name is Chloe the Virgo. I'm a digital nomad and I've been traveling the world for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't know if you've seen this video, but about a year ago, I realized that I was really fed up with living in the United States. Like, I had had this feeling for a while. It was festering inside of me. It really hit me that it was just time for me to leave. It was time for me to go. So I started planning and preparing on my exit. And I'm going through the process of getting a visa so that I can live abroad. I really want to share my journey in hopes that it's going to help the next person out, because I know that there were a lot of mistakes that I made that probably could have been avoided if I knew what I knew now. So let's get into it. If you're one of those people who don't yet understand why so many people are making the decision to leave the US, I'm gonna break it down for you. Number one is the cost of living.
I live in a storage unit because it's cheap in comparison to an apartment.
In almost every city, you're required to have 3 times the rent and income. If your rent is $1,500, $1,200, and you haven't gotten a raise in over 4 to 5 years, it's almost impossible. A lot of people are living with their parents. A lot of people are stuck in relationships that don't really serve them, all because they don't have the financial means to support themselves or get their own place. Healthcare is crazy high. I literally went to Colombia to get dental work done because I was quoted $8,000 for a few dental crowns. And I don't know about you, but I don't have $8,000 laying around.
The Republican budget bill, which throws over 10 million working Americans off their health care to pay for a tax cut for the wealthy, is the biggest transfer of wealth from the poor and middle class to the rich in the history of the country. It is literally a wealth transfer. This is what an oligarchy looks like. Not only would this bill cut Medicaid, but it would also cut climate protections. A clean environment keeps us healthy. This bill would literally make us sicker.
Every doctor's visit to the pharmacy, you're paying so much money out of pocket, and that doesn't include the money that you're paying out of your check every month for healthcare. Work-life balance is non-existent.
I have heard from every nationality that America is dangerous, but I arrived in Indonesia, which is a country that, a lot of people aim to get out of and go to America. And the first thing that my taxi driver says to me is that he's afraid of America because of all the poppy seeds that we're taking and all the jazz powder that people are using.
Americans barely have enough time to spend with their friends and family after working 5, sometimes 7 days a week. I know people who have multiple jobs.
Working 9 to 5 just to stay alive, the 9 to 5 just to stay alive.
Even when you just have one job, sometimes it can be very stressful, you can be burnt out. There's just no work-life balance in America. One of the things that was giving me a lot of anxiety this past year was the political climate, and I won't get too much into right, left, but for a lot of people, not just people of color, not just people who may be immigrants, even people like farmers in Idaho or people in Wisconsin, it's getting to a point where everyone is affected and not just marginalized communities. So the political climate in the States right now is scary.
When I was in Europe, a lot of the kids said their parents wouldn't let them go to America because they were afraid they were going to get popped by the police.
To wrap it up, overall, there's just general burnout and unsatisfaction with the lifestyle. People are constantly stressed and depressed, and there are higher rates of anxiety in almost every generation. But let's be real, you can't just get up and go. You have to be prepared. So let's talk about some things that you need to consider before making this move. Of course, finances is number one. You have to already have a plan for how you're going to support your lifestyle. Are you living off savings? Are you living off retirement? Are you a digital nomad? Because one thing's for sure, you can't just go to another country and pick up work. You need a visa, you need citizenship. There are so many factors when it comes to getting work in another country. So it's best if you bring money or a job with you that can support you in your lifestyle. Speaking of visas, a visa can really be hard to come by depending on which country you're in. So there are temporary visas, like maybe a 6-month tourist visa, or maybe a year or 2-year digital nomad visa. And then there are the longer ones, maybe like a residency, and then you have, of course, your citizenship and stuff. So there's a lot to consider when it comes to deciding which visa you're going to go for, how long that can sustain you, and what your next steps are. But if I'm being honest, you can start small. Maybe start with the tourist visa, stay for a while, see how you like it, go back to the States, and then regroup to figure out what you'll do next. If you're really serious about this, maybe consider hiring a legal representative. Hire a lawyer, somebody who is well versed in the legal process, who can help you with your paperwork, let you know exactly what you need, and just make sure that the process is smooth altogether. There are so many different options out here when it comes to getting healthcare internationally. Really, it's just about searching and doing your research to see what fits you best. But one thing that was really surprising for me is how affordable healthcare can be in other countries. Like I mentioned, I went to Colombia to get a lot of dental work done. I didn't use any insurance. I just paid out of pocket, and it was a lot cheaper than what I would have paid with my insurance in the States. Not to mention being here, by the way, I'm in Costa Rica. Being here in Costa Rica, I've gone to the pharmacy and gotten exactly what I needed a few times without having to pay an arm and a leg, or without even having to go see a doctor. If I need steroids for my skin condition, if I need just really anything, it's readily available and it's affordable. If you're planning on moving to another country, I highly suggest that you learn the language. It's going to make your life so much easier, and it just also shows respect for the people and the culture who you're trying to integrate into. If there was anything that I wish I had done differently when making my transition, it would definitely be taking my language learning a lot more serious. You'll learn how to adapt better to the environment and the things that are new to you by making friends and having people who can show you the ropes and introduce you to other people. Right now, I'm intermediate, so I can have conversations, I can understand people, I can do things like go to a grocery store and find the things that I need, but I often still stumble and I still get nervous when speaking to other people, and I feel like there's been a few people who got over on me because of that. So I wish that I took my language learning more seriously when I was still in the States, because I think it would help me a lot more if I was more fluent. But at least I have some skills. Definitely learn a language. A few countries that are really popular right now for expat communities: Portugal, Mexico, Thailand, Costa Rica, Spain, and I've been to every country except for Thailand, which is on my bucket list. But I would say the places that I enjoyed the most are Portugal, Mexico, and Costa Rica. The thing that makes these places popular is because of cost of living, it's because of the visas, it's because of safety, it's because of community. Having a community of people who are similar to you and who can help you out along the way because they came from the same place as you can make the transition a lot smoother. One of my biggest pieces of advice would be to downsize like crazy. Throw everything that you can away, because when you move to another country, you'll find that you don't really need it. Like, we were able to downsize to a 5x5, and even then I think we could have definitely still thrown a lot of that stuff away. And maybe after a year or two, we actually will decide to empty out that whole storage unit and just get rid of everything. Something else to consider is if you want to keep a US address. For me, it's a lot easier to use a family member's address, or even to get a PO box if you need a US address, somewhere where you can receive mail or important packages. The last thing you might want to consider is taxes and money. This is something that I haven't quite gotten a grasp on. I noticed that there are a lot of fees that comes with exchanging money into different currencies, that come with ATM fees and all these things. One of the things that I have been doing is being very specific about what bank I choose to use the card for. Say for example, Capital One, they don't have international fees, so maybe find a bank that doesn't have international fees. That probably won't stop you from getting hit with a lot of ATM fees, but until you're able to get a bank account in the place where you want to move, I think it's just best to find a bank that doesn't have exchange fees or international fees. And as far as taxes, you're definitely going to need a CPA or a tax professional to help you figure out if you could maybe save money on your taxes, or what that might look like for you if you have a business, if you're a student, if you're selling anything. Consult with a CPA. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, compliments, or if you just want to share your own experience in the comments, feel free to do so. I hope this video helps someone. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.